Happy Monday, Miami Heat fans. Welcome to the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am Nick Roloff, and on today's show, we're doing winners and losers. The Miami Heat wrapped up training camp this past weekend, and before the white, pink, and red game tonight and the first preseason game tomorrow, we wanted to come up here and talk about the winners and losers from training camp because there were a couple of notable things that we need to address here on the channel. But before we do that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are going to have a lot of coverage ramp up here in the next couple of days and specifically weeks because watch parties start again this week. Yes, we made it. Heat basketball is actually back. We're not going to be able to go live on Tuesday, unfortunately, for the first preseason game, but I will be live on Thursday for the second preseason game for the Miami Heat. So make sure you subscribe because watch parties are here. I could not be more excited, and boy, have we waited a long time for them to return. Let's get into the first winner or loser, and it's actually a winner. Nikola Jovic is a winner. And you might be wondering, how is Jovic a winner according to me? Well, it's because he cemented himself in the starting lineup for the Miami Heat. Like, it was very clear at training camp that when the Heat were in their scrimmages and working together, that there was a clear-cut top five group. I was Terry Rozier, Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jovic, and Bam Adebayo. And I think Jovic cementing himself as the starting four is really big for him personally, and that's why he's a winner, but also for his development and role this upcoming year. But it also allows Miami to be a lot more flexible with their rotations because Jovic is really a chameleon. He can play as a playmaker. He can play as a defensive kind of helper, if you will. He can do a lot of things that are really, really nice, and I think having him in this group is only going to add more, I guess, elements to this squad. Like, when you think about the starting five now with Jovic on this group, it's obviously going to be the five guys I just mentioned, but you got two handlers and scorers in Terry and Tyler. You have your wing and Jimmy. You have your big and Bam, but they all can handle the rock. They can all switch defensively to a degree. Like, I think it's going to be a very good group this year, and we talked about how the core four of Terry, Tyler, Jimmy, and Bam last week have a positive net rating of 1. Well, we didn't really see Jovic get thrown into that group that much last year. It was intended for them to be the starting five, but they never were actually able to play together due to injuries. And I think it's going to be very much a good thing for Miami this year, and I can't wait to see the starting group. Not going to go out there and act like this will be the death lineup, the closing lineup for Miami. I don't think it will be at all, but I think you're going to see extended Jovic minutes. You saw on screen there's a number. He only averaged 19.5 minutes per game last season. I would expect that number to take quite the bump up, closer to 23, 24 minutes per game. It's still not going to be like in the starter range of 30 minutes a game because you still have Jaime, Haywood, Highsmith, and other guys, but with no Caleb Martin, Josh Richardson banged up, I think Jovic is going to be a key player for this group starting the year, and I just am so excited for year 3 of Nikola Jovic because, as y'all know, if you've been with the channel for a while, I am very high on Nikola Jovic and think he can be a stud long-term for this Heat group. So we basically know the starting lineup. We do. Terry, Tyler, Jimmy, Jovic, Bam. Seems like that's going to be the group. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. No rookie scores. Let me know your actual thoughts down below. Give me decimals. Give me it all on the starting five. First loser of today's show is actually Josh Richardson. And I feel bad for Jay Rich because it's not really his ability to control why he's a loser, but in case you missed it, Josh Richardson is not 100%. He's currently not fully healthy. He's still dealing with a shoulder injury that he suffered last year on Super Bowl Sunday against the Boston Celtics in that heated game at home where Duncan Robinson got into it with Jaylen Brown a little bit, and he may miss time to begin the season. Now, it's not guaranteed he will miss time. There's a chance he's ready for opening night, but it's also a decent chance he misses a week, maybe 2 weeks where he's out of the lineup. And if he's out of the lineup, my question is, what is his role going to be when he returns into the lineup? Because when you really think of what the Heat have on their team, Richardson kind of feels like he's going to be phased out. Now, not completely, because there's obviously going to be something for him to do on this squad. But when you really break down the 5 starters that we mentioned, think about what the Heat have on their bench. Their 6th man is going to be Jaime Jaquez Jr. Their scorer is going to be, or shooter, I should say, is Duncan Robinson. Their defensive-minded guy off the bench is Haywood Highsmith. The backup center is Khalil Ware. I think your wild card is Alec Burks, who signed in free agency because he averages 10 points per game in his career over the last 4 seasons and is a normal 40% three-point shooter. So to me, when Jay Rich is back, what is his role going to be? Are you really consistently going to run 11, 12 deep in this rotation? Now, the injuries are going to happen, but when you're fully healthy, where does Jay Rich fit? I'm not really sure he does fit with this group that well, and that's why I think he's a loser, because the Heat need a backup point guard, and if he could handle the rock better, I would be in on that, but I don't think he's well suited to be a ball handler and initiator. He, to me, is an off-ball shooter as well as someone who can defend at an average clip, but not really as a ball handler. So what is his role going to be? And with him missing time in the preseason and potentially start the year, he's just going to be behind the 8 ball. And unless major injuries happen, I don't know if Jay Rich is going to see a lot of playing time this season. I know, I can't believe we're going to be doing this right here, but Dru Smith is a winner for the Miami Heat. And it truly is good stuff for him to just continue to find his way onto the winner list and in this Heat rotation. I got to be honest, folks. I simply can't believe this is happening for Dru Smith. And you might be wondering, why are we talking about Dru Smith as a winner? Well, the Miami Heat tweeted this out their own on Friday night, that sending you into the weekend with Dru Smith highlights, and it was a picture of him celebrating as well as him having a game-winning putback in a Heat scrimmage. And let's be honest here, guys, like, based off what we saw during training camp and the lack of a backup point guard for Miami, it feels more and more likely that Dru Smith might actually end up keeping that two-way spot that he currently holds on this Heat roster alongside Keshad Johnson and Josh Christopher, and he might be called up more often than we think in the beginning of the year as the backup point guard. Yes, you heard that correctly. We're going to talk about that more in just a second. But we are sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is back, and I could not be more excited, because right now you could win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as four correct picks. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Prize Picks is the best way to win money this football season as well as basketball season just around the corner. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. I play Prize Picks on a daily basis, and y'all know when the Heat season is here, I play every single day. But you can also make some season-long projections in basketball. I got the more than on Bam Adebayo, 9.9 rebounds. The more than on 6-point assist for Jalen Brunson, and less than 10.2 points per game for the first overall pick, Zachary Reese-Shea. I love Prize Picks, the versatility of it, the different ways you can customize your lineup. There's nothing like it. So download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Yes, you heard that correctly. Make sure you get started with Prize Picks. They're the absolute best. Prize Picks, run your game. That link is going to be in the description and comments of today's video. Appreciate Prize Picks for coming back for this upcoming basketball season. I'm excited. I know the rest of us here at Chat Sports are very excited as well. All right, let's move on here with a loser. And if Dru Smith is a winner, Isaiah Stevens is probably going to be a loser, because here we thought that it was going to be more likely than not that Isaiah Stevens was going to take the final two-way spot from Dru Smith. But at least right now, I think Dru Smith is ultimately going to keep that final two-way spot and be a backup point guard early on if needed. The Heat clearly love him, and that's kind of where this is at. The Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley. They clearly enjoy having him on the roster, whether it be because he plays a winning brand of basketball, he's a good point of attack defender, he doesn't turn the ball over, he was starting to improve his three-point shot before hurting his knee in Cleveland last year. Like, the Heat clearly like Dru Smith, and they're going to keep him around, and if they do want to do that, then it feels very obvious to me that Isaiah Stevens is going to either start on the Heat G League team or get snatched up. And I really hope he doesn't get snatched up, man. I think Isaiah Stevens was phenomenal for the Heat Summer League squad, posting almost 10 assists per game in that Summer League. He was averaging 10 points per game as well, shooting above 40% from three. Sure, he's an undersized point guard, but he does a lot of the little things correctly, and it's someone that I would like in this Heat organization long term. But listen, if he's not on a two-way contract for Miami to start the year, another team can go out and offer him a two-way deal, and he might be able to take it. So we'll have to see how the preseason goes. I'm not saying completely right away that there's no chance Isaiah Stevens takes it from Dru Smith. If it's clear and obvious that in the preseason games that Isaiah Stevens is the better point guard, then they might keep him on a two-way contract and boot Dru Smith. But at least as of right now, Stevens is a loser, Smith's a winner, and that's where things stand with the Heat two-way contract situation, if you're asking me. Heat basketball is back this week. We talked about it. There are preseason games. Are you excited? I am. Show me you are excited by spamming those me's down in the comment section. Final winner and loser today. Winner, Heat fans. And it's not because Heat basketball is actually back. It's because they are making some changes to this lineup. And not really lineup, but like the way they play basketball. And that's big for Miami because they've played on offense that is a slower brand, less free-flowing, and they really rely on Bam, Jimmy, and Tyler to bail them out. But I don't know if that's going to be the case this season because Kevin Love was asked about the changes to this Heat offense and how it has looked in a little bit of a different way in training camp as Erik Spoelstra installs this offense. Kevin Love says, I think we want to use our pace more, get more shots at the rim. We're not going to get totally rid of those contested or long-range twos, but we certainly want to run for more layups and get easy shots and get to the free throw line. Just generate a lot of threes for this team, easy looks. And this could not be more music to Heat fans' ears and mine specifically because spacing is something that he pointed out. And with Bam Adebayo improving his three-point shot, Khalil Ware being a little bit of a threat, Jovic being there, Hawkes being better from three, there's going to be more spacing, which means you're going to have more room for Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler, Bam at times to get into one-on-one situations inside the painted area and have more efficient looks at the rim because that's something that Miami really struggled with last season, and it's been one of the downfalls of the offense over the past 2 or 3 seasons. Last season, Miami was the 7th worst in the NBA in restricted area field goal percentage at 63.4%, but they were also bottom 10 in the NBA in the volume of shots at the rim. So they were bottom 10 in volume in the restricted area, but also bottom 10 in field goal percentage. When you combine those two, your offense is very reliant on being able to knock down your jump shots from 3 in the mid-range, and those are just inefficient type of offenses. Now, if you are able to complement the three-point shot and the jump shots with a lot of easy looks at the rim, where you shoot a better percentage, you get more looks there, and really put pressure on your opposing defense, well, then that's when the jump shots start to become even more of a luxury for this squad. But at least with the offense struggling over the past couple of seasons, they really need to focus and hone in on getting better looks at the rim, and it's glad and music to my ears to see that they were really working on that to push the pace, have better spacing, and get those easier looks. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Heat Report. Make sure you are subscribed because we're dropping weekly content and daily content, as well as going live again for Heat basketball games. Like I said, join us on Thursday for our first watch party of the 24-25 season. It's a preseason game, but I'm fired up for it, and hopefully you are too, so I'll see you then.